Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you, Frank, for inviting me to speak about the arch, although I'm not from Houston. I'm going to update you on our experience with branch endografting, and those are my disclosures. After initial experience that was associated with a 15% combined stroke and mortality rates, we then went on to get better results, matching what Tony was saying, with 5% combined mortality, treating a niche of patient that had a prior open type A repair, which is interesting because it's a bit of the opposite of what Joe is showing us, with first the frozen infant chunk and then the endograft, and here we're talking about first an open repair and then the endograft. So it goes back to the A team. We have options one way or the other. That's the most important. That's a couple of cases that we did. We then went to switch from the two-branch design to the three-branch design, requiring two open carotid cut-downs. And Gustavo Odrich and Emmanuel Tenorio combined the global experience in this registry. And what was interesting is that there was a significant number of secondary procedures because of the very high ACT and two carotid cut-downs. And most of the secondary procedures were due to this issue. So we went on and described this complete approach to doing branch endograft, having an axillary percutaneous approach that is secured by a brachial or a radial sheath. Now you can see also that to get access to that left common carotid with this PERC approach, we had a modified preloaded catheter that helped to have a through-and-through wire directly that you could access either from the groin or from the axillary access. What we also showed in this publication is that those endografts are like branch endograft in the thoracoabdominal segment. They are off-the-shelf branch endograft, and you can use them for emergency cases. Now, what I specifically wanted to show you today is how we've modified the design, including now a retrograde left common carotid branch, which is much easier to access, obviously, from the groin. And we did that following the TBE experience with the retrograde branch to the left common or innominate artery. And you see there's a preloaded catheter going directly into that branch, so access from the groin is really straightforward. Now you can see in this video, we've already positioned the branch into the innominate chunk from the axillary approach, and then on that preloaded catheter, we push a sheath directly into the left common carotid branch, and with the reversed curve catheter, we push a wire into the left common carotid, and you can see here access is quite straightforward, even in those left common carotid that look quite challenging. And this is the bridging stent being positioned. The selective angio, then we get the sheath back and access the left subclavian artery that we then branch the same way also from the groin, and this is the completion angio in that patient. This is the post-op CT, another example that look more complex. So you look at the origin of this left common carotid. In the end, was quite straightforward. Under fusion guidance, you know exactly where you're aiming at, and it is quite straightforward. From the groin, I try to never pass the bifurcation of the carotid, and obviously we contraindicate any patient that has carotid disease or arch plaque. Now, this is the post-op CT. We had to embolize the false lumen of the innominate here that was dissected. And this is another example of a quite an interesting case. This other case already had a bypass to the innominate, so only two branches for the left common and left subclavian artery. In that specific case, we also did a TAVR repair. We published our early experience with this new device on 8 cases between the after VIF last year and at the beginning of the year. 5, again, most of the patient had prior ascending repair, a large arch aneurysm, technical success. We had no stroke. And during follow-up, one patient had a type Y endelic because of a kink of a prior open repair. But what is interesting here is less than 3 hours skin to skin. This would be reduced anatomies. And you can see median ICU and hospital stay 1.5 5 and 5 days. What is also new is that we have evaluated the use of false lumen occluder candy plug in those arch branch dissection. We've published that, and you can see that we have the endograft and the candy plug in the false lumen. Another example, some supraortic bypass to deal with the dissection of the supraortic trunk, and you can see at 1 year complete remodeling in 40% of those patients and no remodeling when we didn't use that system. So in conclusion, swift workflow with this new design, PERC access, we have data to support the use of those retrograde branches, and we have an off-the-shelf device for emergencies. Thank you very much for your attention.